Hey everyone! Apologize about the videos and stuff.
Come on in!
It's been a kind of a while. Don't really have an excuse, just kind of slept up and stuff like that. But I'm excited to be showing y'all some stuff that we're going to be doing here and stuff like that with videos. And I hear something at the door. Give me 1 second. Well, that was weird. I think they hit me with a cartoon ray. Anyway. Going through a new randomizer and everything, showing my kid because they were doing a Soul Link with a friend and everything. And it's got a bunch of cool stuff in it. And I know other randomizers has it too, but my favorite games were going XD Lift Artist and Coliseum from the GameCube. Now, if you ever played those games, you know they're always double battles and everything. Introduced to like Generation 3 and stuff like that. I decided to be fun and cool to do a Pokemon Emerald challenge to where everything is a double battle, just like those two games. And the reason I mentioned the new randomizer and everything is because there's a bunch of new stuff you could do in there. Some of them is like custom sprite stuff. Now, some of the old generations have some of the cooler looking sprites and stuff. However, Generation 3 still has it to where we can customize color palettes too. So, yeah, I am doing a Pokemon Emerald double battle only Nuzlocke. Now, it still has the same normal Nuzlocke rules and everything. You know, catch the first Pokemon every single round, nickname them. If they die or faint in battle, they're dead forever. I've kind of still doing the hardcore, but not as the normal hardcore is. It's got my own set of rules to it and stuff like that, which I'll explain a little bit later down the road. And yeah, with that, let's get started. So, as you can see here, I've also got custom sprites. Now, for Gen 3, it's not so much more, besides like the fire red, leaf green, and Gen 3 stars, stuff like that. Sprites and everything. However, they were able to put in the sprites from Snakewood. Even though I have PTSD from that game because of the ending, I still like the color of the look of the sprites and everything, so I decided to go with that. We managed to randomize the game with all the different randomizations and everything. Managed to boot up the game, and we get to Little Root. We check out our town and everything. We get eventually the starters, which, as you can see here, our first starter is a Spinarak. Now, it is a pink, little bit of a pink color instead of green. It's not the worst color, honestly, and I do have them all at similar strength, so even though Spinarak is about the same strength, it's close, it's not going to be exact. I still don't want a Spinarak, and now. The second choice for us is a Kecleon, which honestly, I love the purple color. I really do. Kecleon's not too bad, but I did look up the moveset, level up moveset, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not that good. Not that good. It's not. But, even though the cool color and everything, we decided to check the next one out, which is a Kangaskhan. Now, Kangaskhan is definitely stronger than a starter, but it is a basic Pokemon. It's similar strength with basic, where it can or cannot level up. So, with the Kangaskhan, I've used them before. I know they're very powerful, and I love the blue color aspect to it. It's so nice. We picked this for our starter, and we face off against the Rattata, who's kind of like a cool green color. Now, it's not like a forest green. It's like a pale green, but it's not an ugly pale green, in my opinion. It's actually a pretty nice color and everything. We name our starter Litnar, and funny enough, it's got Rain Dish, so it works with the blue theme. And funny enough, too, I check it a little bit later, and Litnar is holding a max revive. Now, for my channel, since my runs are always going to be randomized, especially with the video series, if you find a revive, if a Pokemon is fainted once, you can bring it back once. And max revive can bring it back a Pokemon if they have fainted twice. It can bring it back that second time. After that, it is what it is. So if you find a random revive, because you may or may not find it at all. I've had runs where I've never found one, and I've had ones where I've found 3 or 4. You find a revive, you can bring it back if they fainted once. If they have fainted again, you can use a max revive. I had it as an old rule to where you couldn't keep it, but I'm going to change it now to where I can keep it, because sometimes it's had it to where I've needed it and I don't have it again. And I think it's just a nice little reward for myself. I think it is. We do the rival fight, we battle the cool Kecleon and everything, and then after defeating her, we go get our Pokeballs with our Pokedex, starting our Nuzlocke run. But we go over to Route 101 and we catch ourselves a Wurmple named Targ. Now, if you haven't realized the nicknames for everything, it is from the Cypher trainers from XD and Coliseum. Take it as thematic. but it's not a bad color. A little bit of a green red instead of like a pure red, but it's not too bad. We go over to Route 103 and we catch ourselves a Slugma. Now, they're normally blue, normally red, but this one's a nice solid blue color, which I actually like. It's not like a bright neon blue, like the shaders work well with the blue and everything. We go over to Route 102 and we see ourselves a Wooper. And I like the color of the Wooper. Like, Wooper has got a nice color to it, Gary, but I can imagine like that deep blue color to be like the swamp bog aspect. And like this light blue color, almost like, not really gray blue, but I guess you would call it like silver almost, maybe? I don't know. I can see that being like the freshwater aspect that Wooper has lived in instead of like the muddy water. But we name him Divil, we get him there, and we go on. First fight against Calvin, not much there, except the Magikarp there had a sick radioactive green. And I think it's just so cool. I meant, like, I know Magikarp can live almost anywhere, so I can imagine he picked up his Magikarps, like, over some, like, radioactive field or something like that. Didn't really change anything, just made him different color. We fight Rick next, and honestly, has a really cool purple Caterpie. I can see this being the official color for Caterpie if they decided to make like Caterpie and Metapod somewhat purple to go with the Butterfree aspect. It looks pretty cool. Alan had a couple Pokemon. None of the really colors stand out, but we're all good to go. We were going back and forth with the healing and stuff like that. You know, battling, then going heal, battling, then going and heal. Because one of the rules is that I cannot grind off of what Pokemon I have to grind off against trainers. And another part of the rules is I cannot use healing items in battle except for important battles, which I'll discuss later on. So I can't heal and I don't have that much money, so I'm just healing back and forth every single time I battle somebody. We end up fighting another Slugma, which has Shadow Tag, just like ours did. And unfortunately, in the mirror match, we lost Lon, marking the first death of this series. You will be missed. You'll be missed so much. But after, you know, going through with Lon and everything, we faced off against Tina, who had a really cool Poochyena and Wynot. Now, Wynot's not too bad, silver with a green. Pretty decent color. The Poochyena, though, the dark Poochyena with the eyes is just so cool and fantastic. I think it's so cool. We go over to Wally. We help him catch a sick-looking crocodile, actually. And then after, you know, talking to our dad more and Wally, stuff like that, we go over to the left of Petalburg, Route 104, to catch ourselves a Makuhita named Trudley. Now, Trudley, his color's not too bad. It's a little bit more brown than what I was expecting, but it's not too bad, honestly. I just feel like, unlike the other Makuhitas, he didn't finish his tan, is what it is. We faced off against the beach trainers. None of them were really interesting or had interesting colored Pokemon, so we did pretty decent against them. We went up and fought that rich girl that had a Smeargle. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Smeargle knows Sketch, which means that whatever move I use of the two Pokemon I have, it can potentially learn it. The colors are pretty decent. I like the blue on the tail. But I remember for the first few turns, I was just spamming non-status moves, regular status moves, instead of non-attacking moves to try to get it to sketch a move. But it ended up not sketching anything and using Struggle, which I was able to work around. So it was pretty good. After that fight, we were able to get Silcoon, which gave us a nice, like, teal color. It's not exactly the, like, brightest teal. I think it's, like, maybe just saturated a little bit, but it's still pretty nice. And Petalburger Woods were able to catch a yellow Venonat named Agnic, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. I like the yellow. It's not like one of those disgusting yellows, because I've noticed with yellow, you either get the bright sunshine yellow, or you get like that mustard and gold colored look, which, I mean, doesn't work. So it's a nice colored one, I will say that. The first trainer, Lyle, we faced off against Petalburg Woods, didn't have the most of, like, unique Pokemon. Like, I think Feebas had a decent color inside of Tyrogue. But the funny enough thing about this battle is that we got burned from Flame Body and Paralysis from Static. So it was one of those... it made that battle very interesting because we had to get around the two status conditions that we managed to get. That was just crazy. We fought the Team Aquagrunt. No real good Pokemon there or an interesting Pokemon, so we're good. We faced off against the other bug trainer, James, who had a Ditto and a Metadite. Now, Ditto transforms into a Pokemon, so it's not the end of the world, but the Metadite I was worried about because it only knew Bide, which isn't too bad. But I've got like Venonat, Silcoon, Wooper. I lost my one fire type, and the other ones, they hit decently. They hit for damage and stuff, but not that hard. So it was a little tough to get around the Metadite. Worst thing is I just kind of left it alone. As long as you don't touch it, it don't go good, and I focused on the Ditto. And after the Ditto came out, Zigzagoon came out. Now, this gives me Galarian Zigzagoon vibes, but in a different direction. Because, like, how it was white and black, this is like a brown silver with that really cool neon teal. This is not green, this is like teal. I thought it was, like, so cool. Like, instead of it being a normal dark type, this could be like a normal, like, electric type or psychic type version of the Zigzagoon. I thought it was so cool. We faced off against Whiston once we got out of the Petalburg Woods and everything. Not really much of a fight. Spear and Swinub, the colors weren't that interesting about it and everything. We faced off against Haley over here on the right, and her Lotad didn't have the most interesting of colors, but the Mudkip was pretty cool because it was green. I know Swampert and them are more after like Oxalotls, but I still think the green works just because they're swamp creatures, they're swamp beings. And I know Oxalotls aren't always green, but I still think it works because you can also make the argument they're frog and Oxalotl mixed in, and the green works really well. Twins had Cleffa and Wooper, not much interesting colors there, and the Fisher didn't have really anything much there too, so we managed to fit them off. We get to Rustboro, we get some items and never selected that. The biggest thing is the Quick Claw. Doesn't do anything for right now, but it is pretty cool that we do get it. And we go face off against the first trainer of the gym, and we learn that it's fire type because they have Houndour, which is dark in fire, so you may think it's dark, but they also have Charmander, which solidifies that it's a dark fire type gym. Houndour's colors, they're not the best, but they're not the worst in my opinion. I think they could have done a little bit better, but Charmander has got some nice, sick colors, especially with the flame being purple. It reminds me of like Azula from Avatar with the different color flames. Really cool. Because of the fact that we're only able to grind against trainers and no wild Pokemon, and normally I would hack in like rare candies to get the level up, we're not doing that no more. I need to go get some more experience for this gym. Because with the way that randomization is and everything, I'm doing a soft level cap. So normally you would say the gym leader's A is level 16, I should get level 16. But because of the randomization now, the EXP curves are and everything, I'm doing a soft one to where I could be 5 levels higher. Because even though they're similar strengths, sometimes just the randomization of this will make it difficult for me. So 5 levels above, because of that, and only between battling wild trainers, I'm not getting that much XP. So I go up past Rustboro to Route 116 to get some more XP. We catch a Taillow, which has a nice, soft... It's not sky blue. It's not like sea blue. It's like a mixture of the two, if that makes sense. Colors on Taillow. And I think it actually looks pretty nice. I think it really does. It doesn't add much to our team because even though it's not weak to fire, it's not super effective against it, it doesn't add that much. If anything, it just adds another Pokemon. We fight Joey. Didn't really have that much, just Claire and Clefable. Clefairy and Ghastly, sorry. And it was not bad. It was not that bad. We did find a rare candy, though. Even though I'm not hacking in rare candies, we can find rare candies. And I used it to evolve Targ, the silicone, until this sick-looking Beautifly with the red and everything else. Now listen. I'm going to see the story of Targ. He's going to become useful. He's going to be sucking the blood out of his enemies. And that is why he is the bright red that he is. He is a vampire. He is out for vengeance! Anyway. With the new Targ and everything, we go out and fight Jose, which had the stupidest fight ever. Wooper wasn't too bad, but Barboach had Mud Slap, which kept lowering my accuracies. And they're both water types. And, like, I know I have, like, normal types and fighting types, but I was trying to train up Divil because it's water type for fire type gym. And fighting other water types is not that good. So between the two water types, the Mud Slaps, and everything else, this fight was the most annoying. Plus the Meowth, too, was actually doing a decent amount of damage. I don't remember the girl's name. She had Slakoth and Trico. Colors... weren't that amazing, honestly. The Trico's kind of cool with the pink, but other than that, it was kind of mid. We pass her. We do a double battle with the, I think it's the Hiker and another person. And out of other Pokemon there, they didn't give us no trouble, but I love the Snubble. because I knew I said Magikarp had that radioactive green. Snubbull had like a more uranium green, which I know is weird to say, but there is a difference, and it's so cool, especially with the black accents everywhere. Snubbull was fantastic to look at. We go to Rustling Tunnel, we catch ourselves a Meryl there, which we name Venus. Now, Meryl doesn't add a lot of benefit because I don't know any water type moves, plus I can't really battle any other Pokemon at this point, so the level is what it is. But I do trade Meryl for Agnic because fire type gym, water does resist, maybe it'll help us out a little bit. I tried to get a few more experience points for Divil and stuff like that in the gym, and throughout the battling the trainers and everything, I learned that Cyndaquil has Water Absorb, which is not going to be fun, because then it means that it's no longer weak to water, and it's going to be very annoying. I prepped for the fight, giving Pokemon like berries and stuff like that. I managed to pick up a Ross Berry, give it to Trottle so he didn't get burned, because my lead is wanting to do Divil for water type damage, and I want to do Trudley for just damage in general, because it got Arm Thrust and Focus Energy. I want to go for the crits here. Now, all the other stuff here, I've just been kind of showing you like screenshots or anything else like that. However, for this one, I do want to do a play-by-play of me versus Roxanne, because I think it'd be cool. She leaves the Charmander and the Cyndaquil with Water Absorb, while I leave Divil and Trudley over here. I'm like, great, I can't use Water Gun on the Cyndaquil, so I'm going to use it on the Charmander here, and I'm trying to decide between I want to do Focus Energy or Arm Thrust. I decided for Focus Energy, get the crit rip already up. Crit hit chance to go up more. We see Charmander do the Ember, thankfully not burn Trudley, which is good because I don't want to waste the Ross Berry quite yet. Leer come on to both Pokemon, which isn't too bad because Ember is special, but if they use like Scratch and Tackle, it does suck because my defenses are lowered. We managed to hit Charmander for good damage. I believe we just go for Water Gun again on there, and now I want to get rid of the Cyndaquil with Trudley because of the fact that I can't use Divil to get rid of it, so we go for Arm Thrust. You see the Ember come from Charmander. Actually does burn Trudley this time, but the Ross Berry comes in clutch. Then we see Smokescreen stats from the Cyndaquil. That's going to be annoying to deal with. Trudley also gives minimal damage against the Cyndaquil, and Divil misses his attack, so I'm just like, great. This is now fun. I do spend a little bit here trying to figure out what I want to do here. I'm trying to decide if I want to heal here, because normally with Hardcore Nuzlocke, you can't heal in battle, but I decided to make it a little bit more fair about myself because I'm a Weenie Hut Jr., and with some trainers in Elite Four and other stuff like that, they can heal. They don't have a lot. They have like 3 to 4 or something like that, depending on, I think even the champions get like 4 to 5. Now, I could go through each of the games to figure out what I want to do, how many potions and all that stuff, but to make it easier for myself, I get 5 healing items or things to use in each of the battles. I decide not to heal, switch out Divil to get rid of the accuracy drop from that, and I decide to go ahead and try to get rid of the Charmander, so that way I can get rid of the Embers and everything. I switch out to Artist because I like Swallow, but it's not the most Pokemon I needed. Unfortunately, that does hurt Trudley because now he's a red HP. Out of Charmander, now comes in Cyndaquil. At this point, I can either try to bring back Divil in for some damage, or if I want to try to let Artist go down to get a seam switch in to Divil. And that's what I do. I decide to leave an Artist, try to get a little bit of damage, hopefully get a safe switch in back into Divil, and then heal up Trudley. He actually gets a crit on the Cyndaquil Artist, which is actually really good, but then goes down from an Ember from the Torchic. So, second loss in the run. Your sacrifice will not be in vain, Artist! We bring back Divil, hoping to do Water Gun against the Torchic, and I'm still trying to get rid of the Cyndaquil. I'm debating whether I want to heal with Trudley or if I want to go for damage and try to take it out. And I go for damage, but then Roxanne heals Cyndaquil back up, which then makes this fight, I'm like, ah! Torchic does some damage onto Trudley, I believe, which, kind of knocks me down. And Trudley only hits 2 times again, which is one of those, ugh. We managed to do some Water Gun onto the Torchic, and I just keep going with the same strat. Now I've got to switch out Trudley, because I just can't keep doing this, you know what I mean? It's just not working. Trudley, you're not working! We go on to Venus over here to hopefully eat some Embers and stuff like that, and I want to try to get another Pokemon that can take care of it. Venus does eat a double Ember, which is really good, and I managed to do some more damage against the Torchic with a Water Gun, almost knocking it out. Venus did have Oranberry equipped to it, so hopefully it'll heal up a little bit of HP over here. Almost full. We decided to go Water Gun for there, and I still want a clean switch in, and I don't necessarily want to bring in my Pokemon to get burned, so I decided to go for a Tail Whip, because if I bring Litnar out with the normal type boost and the defense lowered, hopefully it might be able to let me get rid of the Cyndaquil. Torchic goes for Scratch on it after Cyndaquil used Leer, which is not the best for me here, but we managed to take out the Torchic, which is all good. I still have to deal with this annoying Cyndaquil, but we're all good to go. And the last Pokemon she brings out is Quilava. Quilava. The same Pokemon that is on the right is on the left, just evolved. I said similar strength a while ago. This is her nose pass. This is her nose pass. I'm hoping and praying that Quilava does not have Water Absorb like Cyndaquil does. I don't have it to where they kept the abilities when they evolve. But I'm hoping that doesn't happen, and I decided to switch out Venus for Litnar and just hope not to get burned. I'm cool. Quilava just goes for a Tackle, and Cyndaquil goes for Ember on Divil. I'm not worried about he's burned because Water is Specialist Gen. But unfortunately, Water Gun does not do that much damage. It does not, which is sad, but I still power on through. And now with the Tail Whip, I'm hoping the Comet Punch will take out the Cyndaquil. I'm hoping it will work. We see more Smokescreen stats from the Quilava, I believe it was, onto Devil to make it to where it misses the water attacks. But thankfully, we managed to get rid of the Cyndaquil now. I'm thinking the Tail Whip plus the Comet Punch plus Litnar stats just made it really nice and good. And I decided, even though that he has accuracy lower between Litnar and Water Gun, I'm hoping to do enough damage here. You see Ember hit Litnar, thankfully not burn. I did have Bite though, so I wasn't that worried, but it was still just, ugh. Managed to land the Water Gun this time. Getting Quilava down a little bit more health, activating his Oranberry. That's how I also know it's the Nose Pass too, because it has the berry. I'm trying to figure out if I want to go for Bite or Comet Punch, because I'm worried about the bird. Also, I think Litnar is faster, so if I go for flinches, it might be better. But at this point, I'm like, wow, that was like pitiful damage. And we managed to land Water Gun, which is pretty decent. I will say this, that I don't think there's that much more that goes on. I still want to do the battle, but I'm pretty sure there was nothing more left but just to beat this Pokemon right here. I do decide to go for Leer because I'm like, well, maybe I can live through and get a kind of the Comet Punch off on it and get rid of it because Water Gun's not doing that much damage. But we see Water Gun miss, and Litnar is in low HP, but she's able to heal with the Oranberry, which is all pretty good here. It shows that we can still live another hit. I power through with Water Gun, and I decided to go for Comet Punch. Thankfully, Quilava just goes for a Tackle, does decent damage, but between this Comet Punch here with the defense drop, and I believe Water Gun hits here as well, takes out the Quilava, earning us... Nope, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie. I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself. But as you can see here, we're able just to take down the Quilava after we figure out what we want to do. I'm not going to bother you with the details. I'm pretty sure one of them gets a little bit lower HP, but it's all good. It's got 1 HP. I don't think she has any more potions left. We're good. But yeah, after that, we get the badge and everything, and then that was our first episode for this Emerald Double Battle Challenge. I really do hope you like the way I'm doing these things. I know most people, when they do scripted videos, they do the whole game. I want to show y'all some of the stuff that happens and my own thoughts and everything. So that's why I'm doing it like this. I hope you also like the PNG stuff. I'm getting used to it. And I think it's a fun little thing to do with videos while with streams. They can have face cam and stuff. I hope y'all like it. And with that, I'll be seeing y'all next time for episode 2 of this.